everybody. Welcome back to the Tipsy Ghosts. We're your tipsy hosts, Sarah, and Lindsey.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hi. How are you guys?
Fine. I just burped and Boydston called it a burf. New word unlocked.
I had to compliment Sarah's burp because Lindsey doesn't know how to burp. So.
Okay, first off, Lindsey knows how to burp.
No.
You don't like the way that I burp.
It's not okay. There's something wrong with you.
It's extremely forced.
There's lots of things wrong with me.
Closed mouth.
This is my impression of Lindsey burping.
I did.
It's not that bad.
Yes, it is. I thought you were groaning sitting down. I didn't know that was a burp.
So I feel the burps coming, and sometimes I just gotta push a little bit extra to get them out of my body.
Do you need to be patted on your back like a baby?
I need to be burped like a baby. Can you please do that for me, guys?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm experienced in that area.
At work this week, me and Boydston were walking, and I had like an unexpected burp that just came out, and she goes, "That was a normal burp. I'm very proud of you."
The things I'm proud of Lindsey for.
Burping like a normal human being.
Walking without tripping.
Knowing who's Celine Dion versus Dido.
To be fair, I would have never remembered that was Dido.
Yes, thank you.
But I did know that it wasn't Celine Dion, so I feel like I get partial credit.
So
you thought it was Sia.
Yeah, I did. 100%.
We're talking about the song "I Will Go Down with This Ship."
Great song.
Lindsey was just belting it out on the way to get some food. And she's like, "I really love the Celine Dion song." I was like, it's not Celine Dion.
Okay, so I associate that with Titanic and
because it's a ship.
Celine Dion.
All songs about ships are Titanic.
A ship that's going down must be
see
Celine Dion.
I'm on a Boat. That's by Celine Dion as well.
Celine's a really good rapper.
Celine co-wrote "I'm on a Boat."
She has such a way with words.
By the way, I love that song.
I do too.
It's so ridiculous.
I love it. I don't know why I associate that song with Titanic. I do.
Well, you already told us because it's a ship going down.
It's a ship going down. Yes,
It must be her.
it must be her.
Celine's gonna go down with the ship.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a great song.
Yeah.
Apparently that's what I sing when I'm drunk because I was singing it when we were at work because I'd been singing it the night we were all ghost hunting and drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you were.
I kept singing it on repeat.
Yes, you did. And I'm pretty sure you said that night it was Celine Dion also.
Probably.
I thought you were kidding.
No.
Nobody corrected you. We all just were like,
that's why I didn't think I was wrong.
I didn't
happening?
notice.
I did, but
yeah, I
don't know what I was doing. I was probably talking to the owner somewhere.
I get singy when I get drunk.
About.
No, you were in there with me because I was laying on the floor and you started singing with me at one point.
Also true, I'm sure. Neat.
Yeah, so Boydston's pointing out my flaws tonight. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, let's think
You're
of some
really
more.
special to me.
Oh, thank you. I really care about you and our friendship.
That was sweet. Sweet little moment.
If only she meant it.
I feel like that was heartfelt. I don't know.
Don't make fun of my burps.
She's very sensitive about
and
those.
there you go. Now you know she didn't mean it.
I'm sorry, did you mean it to me?
What part?
You just stared at me. What part?
The part where you said she was special.
You are special to me.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, don't you
I
feel like
really
an
do.
asshole now?
I really do care about you and our friendship.
Do we just have therapy?
Are you guys going to keep going? Should I go home or?
We're good.
I just keep looking back and forth. Like,
you're like, what?
What's happening?
I don't know. This is our relationship. This is our friendship.
Mm-hmm. This is how we are at work, and then sometimes I help her do her job, and sometimes she helps me do my job.
That's true. There's balance.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes she betrays me and leaves me, and
here we are.
Okay. The truth comes out. Back to therapy. Here we go.
Therapy, yes.
I'm changing shifts away from Lindsey's shifts.
Traitor. Oh, man, something in my throat.
Oh, my.
And she's really taking it well.
She's coming to days with me.
Listen, on the night shift life, and Boydston knows this.
LYFE.
LYFE. Like, people leave us all the time. There's a high turnover rate. And so I just thought Boydston was a night shift lifer with me, and she's not.
It's hard to be a night shift lifer, but she's been there for a while.
She has.
Night shift.
She has. I just thought she would stay with me forever.
Maybe you too will come off night shift.
I offered her to come to days.
Okay. You offered me, but you have no authority to offer that position.
You don't know that.
It'll happen.
It's got more authority than you think I have.
Okay.
Just think about it.
You find me a day shift position. We'll talk.
You'll consider it.
We'll talk. I'll consider.
Okay.
Yay, then we could all be on day shift.
Without killing somebody. Don't kill any of the day shifters.
No, I wouldn't.
She'd never be able to.
Have you guys seen the Richard Ramirez documentary on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
It's very good.
Well, now you spoiled it for anybody who didn't know who the Night Stalker was.
Hey, the 90s? 80s called?
80s, yeah.
I know he died in the 90s, but yeah. 80s, 90s, they called. They said
what? I was waiting for that.
I answered the phone. What did they say?
I was waiting. I'm like, what'd they say, Liz?
I don't know.
We don't want Richard Ramirez back? I don't know.
They said it's not a spoiler anymore.
Oh, okay. There it was.
I have not watched it. I've been
good.
meaning to. I hear excellent things about it.
It was really good. I binged it all in like a day or two.
I binged it today. It's only 4 episodes, so it's really not like super long.
Okay. I've been rewatching The Handmaid's Tale and also MasterChef. So
I watched the most horrific documentary on Amazon Prime called Goodnight Sugar Babe.
I've seen it.
Oh my God.
It makes me very uncomfortable.
Hold on,
does.
I'm gonna have to put this on my Amazon. What's it called?
Goodnight Sugar Babe.
Sugar Babe.
Okay.
Yeah, just be warned that it's terrible on so many levels, and I was like, I couldn't even talk about it on the podcast because it was just ugh.
But here we are.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about the deets on it though, but you should go check it out if you're into that kind of stuff, I guess. What I will say is that it's so crazy.
The summary even, I'm like,
yeah,
you can't stop watching because it truly, like, each person they interview, it's just another crazy twist in the story.
okay, I'll have to watch that this week.
Bizarre and horrible, of course, but that's what I watched the other day. Like, eyes wide open the whole time. Oh, God.
That's how like the Richard Ramirez was for me. Like, it was just terrifying.
Yeah,
like imagining living in that time.
I feel like I've listened to a bunch of podcasts on him.
Yeah,
but still, I feel like I learned a lot on that one.
did.
Like, I didn't realize actually how horrible of a human he was,
or just how terrified everybody was.
Yeah,
like, that's what got me. Like, it really focuses on the detective work and the detectives in their lives, and just like talking about how their families weren't even like living with them
right
near the end. And I was just like, gosh, it's terrifying.
Yeah. He was not a good person.
No, he wasn't.
But some really funny memes have come of it. And they're like, look over there at your hot friend, Richard. It's like a horse with
I don't think I've seen these memes.
Teeth.
Aww.
What do you mean, aw? What is the sad part in that?
The horse.
Oh, you felt bad for the horse.
Comparing it to him.
It's because some women were like going crazy over him and over Richard Ramirez and thinking how hot he was, and then he'd smile and he just has the most atrocious looking grin out there. You must watch.
I will watch.
Okay. Yep. We'll talk about it again next week after you watch.
Sarah, are you listening to any new podcasts that maybe a good friend recommended?
Oh,
Thank you for asking.
2 of you cannot.
I am. It's called My Dad Wrote a Porno.
Oh, I've heard of it.
I don't think I've ever heard of this.
So good. Kind of reminds me of us a little bit. There's 3 people just sitting around chatting and laughing.
Yes.
Which one of our dads wrote the porno?
Oh, good. I don't know.
Not mine. I say Sarah's.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be mine. It's not going to be Lindsay's.
No.
That's for sure.
Well, maybe, but we could just read one. Although I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be able to get past the first paragraph without giggling like crazy. Although they laugh quite a bit.
That's what they do.
It is. It's very, very funny. Totally would recommend. But if you have kids, do not listen in front of the kids. I think Boydston already expressed that last time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely like listen on your way to work or on your way home. Okay. I like to listen to it on my way home because it kind of helps lighten the mood a little after work. But so funny. I am dying at the plot or lack thereof. They were in a maze for like 4 chapters.
Yes.
And
yes. I mean, just wait. It gets so much better.
I'm on the chapter about the Duchess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is like a historical fiction
porno. No, not in any way, shape, or form.
No. I mean, there's duchesses in the world that are not.
That's true. Okay. I just think of, I just finished reading Bridgerton, and so that's what I was thinking of.
Which, by the way, have you started that on Netflix?
I saw episode 1, and then I was like, I'm going to finish Richard Ramirez instead, so that's what I watched.
Okay, also don't watch with your kids in the room.
No.
Bridgerton.
No, Netflix already said parental advisory, and I had to input my little parental code, so I know.
Oh, yeah. I was surprised. Way good, though.
Yeah, wait till... I just can't. I can't wait for you to continue listening.
To listen? Mm-hmm. I'll probably listen to more on my way home tonight.
It's just so funny. It turns you on in absolutely no way.
Absolutely not. Just my favorite part thus far, and I don't want to ruin things, but they mentioned this right from the beginning, so hopefully I don't spoil anything for anybody, but I just love that his dad, he picked his pen name, and it's Rocky Flintstone. It's so funny. If that gives you an idea of, like, just it sets up the story, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for Rocky Flintstone.
Rocky Flintstone, self-published. Erotic literature.
You can buy it for like $2 on Amazon.
It's $1.99.
Oh, you can actually buy the actual porno.
Yes, it's like a real book.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Right. Yeah. That's why it's funny. It's so bad, it's funny. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, for God's sake. Why? Okay, I've never noticed before tonight. Are you putting on a show?
She does it all the time.
I don't know why this bothers you so bad.
I literally have never noticed. Maybe
it's the wrong way to do it. I can't.
How is there a wrong way to burp?
You force it. Just wait till it's in your throat and then just let it out.
Oh my.
All right. What are we talking about this week, guys?
True crime.
Oh, one of these. I feel like it gets worse every time we do it.
We need one of those pitch finders. It's like, and then we all find the same note.
I'll buy one on Amazon and bring it next time.
Well, we can. Does this help? Do you want a metronome?
Oh. No, I don't like that. Do not like my
eardrums.
It's like right in the headphones. Ooh.
There's somebody clinging to my eardrum.
That's a no to the metronome. Got it.
That was a big fat no.
The timing is not what the problem.
It's not the timing, it's the pitch.
I've got a tuning fork I can click.
No, this is
Oh God.
Yeah. Never mind.
It's fine. Reverb.
We're both ears. Like holding our ears like no.
Did you hear it in yours?
Next time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
she's just not as much as a baby as we are, apparently.
Yes, thank you. Yes. So we're talking about true crime.
Yes, we are.
All things true and crime.
Crimes that have happened.
And that are true.
Oh, it's not me.
Inner demon.
Hello, inner demon.
And also wants to talk about true crime.
So we're going to talk about true crime. Let's spin and see who's going to go first.
Here we go. Spinning.
Oh, wait, we're just going to...
I forgot.
It's you.
Oh, yay. Thank you for telling me I can't read that far away.
No, I can't
purple.
Either.
Always? Because I feel like it changed colors last time.
Because then it changes when it goes from 3 to 2.
Okay.
Do your purple whenever it's the three of us.
Okay, good to know.
There's too many rules.
All right. Well, this is the second half of my 2-part story. Ooh, I was waiting for everybody's reaction.
I thought you were getting ready to say something else.
No, I was pausing for dramatic effect.
From Missouri?
From Skidmore, Missouri.
Skidmore, Missouri, yes.
Hey, you're going to offend everybody in Skidmore.
Well,
doesn't sound like there's a lot of people there.
Not the first time they've heard that.
True that, I'm sure. Okay, so last week I was talking about the death of Ken McElroy. This was in 1981. He was the town bully. Remember, he died and nobody saw a thing. Kind of a deal.
The police chief left.
They all pretty much
just left for a little while, and then magically it returned when it was over.
Yeah, we remember.
Yeah, that story.
That was suspicious.
But there seems to be more fascination around the town itself.
Okay.
That was just the beginning of kind of traumatic events that have happened in this town. And just as a reminder, there's only about 300 people that live there. So for it to even have more than one is kind of weird. So the second one I was going to talk about is the 2001 disappearance of Branson Kane Perry. On April 7th, 2001, you were nodding like you knew something.
No, I'm nodding like I'm interested.
Oh, I like that.
That's my birthday. Not 2001, but April 7th.
I was just about to graduate high school on April 7th, 2001. Okay, all right.
I don't think I remember middle school.
I know.
6th grade.
That's middle school.
Yes. Oh, for me it was elementary still, but okay, continue.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. I was your elder. Still am.
That's how that works. Yes, that's how aging is.
I have continued to age, and you have also. So,
and we are still the same amount of years apart.
That's true. Okay. Anyhow, on that date, Branson visited a neighbor. Just as a warning, too, these are kind of wild rides here with a bunch of names thrown in there. So stay with me. Let me start that sentence for the 100th time.
I was going to say, where are we? Branson.
Far.
Somebody named Branson.
He visited a neighbor who allegedly gave him an unidentified drug.
Branson?
I know, never a good idea. And after taking this drug, Branson claimed to have engaged in sexual activity with this male neighbor.
Okay.
So the next day, he sobered up, and apparently he was ashamed of his actions, so he talked to his dad about it. And his dad was really not happy to hear this. Okay, this is really small town Missouri, so I'm sure it's not uncommon to be upset about that. His father had thought that he might, quote unquote, teach him a lesson. But there was never any confrontation of any sort because on April 11th, 2001, Branson Perry, disappeared. The story says that Branson was at home and he was just taking jumper cables back out to his shed. So somewhere between his house and the shed, he just disappeared. Yeah.
Interesting.
The interesting part is that his father was hospitalized at the time, and he had hired 2 mechanics to come to the house to work on the car. And they were helping around the house with the chores, but supposedly they saw nothing.
Okay.
Suspicious.
Are they thinking he disappeared on his own because he was so ashamed, or something happened?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think they really know.
Yeah.
Branson's grandmother, Joanne Stinnett, dropped by the house on April 12th to see him, but found that he was not there. All of his personal belongings were left at the house, and finally, on April 16th of 2001, a missing persons report was filed. So 5 days after he went missing.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
To wait.
And he was like, I think I said 20 years old at the time. So it's kind of that tricky time when they're an adult. And I don't know exactly what the rules are. I think they have to be gone for 24 hours before you can even file.
I think for, an adult. Nowadays it's 24. I don't know.
True.
That's changed.
Yeah, no clue. Police tracked down some people that they thought had sold some drugs or were involved with him through drugs. But, again, that led nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2003, police were able to identify a suspect named Jack Wayne Rogers, and he was arrested on separate crimes. So just a little backstory on Jack, because it's wild, too. He was a former Presbyterian minister and Boy Scouts leader. He was arrested after attempting to perform a sex reassignment surgery on a trans woman and was unable to stop the bleeding.
He was a pastor who was trying to do surgery?
And a Boy Scouts leader.
Do they learn medicine in pastor school?
It's called seminary school, but no, they do not.
Pastor school.
Pastor school seminary?
I don't think they do, because that's why he was arrested. Practicing.
They do not.
Without a medical license.
Noted.
And
also, don't do that.
Like that's a pastor doing sex reassignment surgery seems like something a pastor would not want to do.
Or should be doing.
Well, no, definitely should not be doing. I think that's implied.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the whole thing about him is just completely bizarre. All right, so after they arrested him, the police searched through his belongings, and they found that he had also written some disturbing things online about raping, torturing, and murdering a blonde male that sounded a lot like Branson.
This guy's a bad guy.
He's not a good egg.
No.
He even wrote about eating severed genitals.
No, bad guy.
Yeah.
Don't like him.
He's got a lot of issues.
You can do that with cows, but not with humans.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't think he specified, but I don't think you need to really. Either way, it's
that's not right. Good. You don't like that.
Right.
What is that face for?
You just went to, it's okay with animals right away, and I was just like, ew, I didn't even think of that.
On MasterChef.
Like Rocky Mountain oysters?
Yes, on MasterChef, I know bulls' tentacles and...
Tentacles?
Tentacles. Tentacles. Damn it! I see it on, crap, what's it called?
I was just peeing my pants.
Hold on.
For testicles?
No.
Testes.
No, they do it as like
I'm not
one
sure.
of the late night talk show hosts does it as like a it's like a game show that they do where you either have to spill a secret or you have to eat something nasty, and they always have a bull's penis on there. The thing.
Ew.
Yeah.
Well, no, thank you.
Gosh, I can't.
Not tentacles.
It's James Corden, but I can't remember what this segment is called.
Thank you.
I'm ignoring you guys and your tentacles and testicles talk.
It was you.
It was 100% you.
The thing is, you immediately went to, well, with animals, it's okay. And I'm like,
I just saw it
gross.
on TV. It was just on MasterChef.
We watch very different things on TV.
She made a delicious dish out of it.
I don't think I could ever eat that.
If I knew, I definitely couldn't. I can barely eat a chicken like wing off the bone. I can't deal with other stuff. Freaks me out. No, thank you. All right, moving on. So they were unable to confirm, though, that he had anything to do with Branson's disappearance. So he was charged on different things, but never with Branson's disappearance.
And he never admitted to it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So unfortunately, that case was just left unsolved.
Yeah.
They never really knew what happened to him. Okay, so in 2004, there was the death of Bobby Joe Stinnett, and you guys have probably heard about this story.
I was going to say that name sounds...
It does sound familiar.
Yeah, it is a really sad, horrific story. So Bobby Joe Stinnett and her husband, they both had a dog breeding business in their hometown of Skidmore.
Where are you going with this?
I know this one. Is this... Okay, I don't want to spoil it.
Don't spoil it. A woman named Lisa Montgomery began having a conversation with Bobby Joe in a rat terrier chat room online.
Mm-hmm. And this was recently in the news again.
Mm-hmm. That's what spiraled this whole thing.
We talked about this
me.
at work. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So, they started talking back and forth and realizing that they had a lot of things in common about the rat terriers and that they were both pregnant. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they exchanged emails and started a friendship that way. They were emailing back and forth. Mm-hmm. On December 16th, 2004, Lisa Montgomery went to Bobby Joe's house and strangled her. She then cut Stinnett's unborn child from her womb and left the house and unfortunately left her there to die.
Right.
So there were no signs of forced entry, and police think that Lisa was probably posing as a potential customer to buy one of the dogs that was supposed to be meeting her that day. Bobby Joe was discovered by her mother. When she called the police, her mother, she described the scene as it looked like her stomach had exploded. I can only imagine how sad that probably was.
I can't even imagine, yeah.
So police were able to figure out that Bobby Joe had been interacting with Lisa by looking at online communication. You got to remember, this is 2004. So, they should know, but it was still kind of in the early stages of being able to track things like that online.
Mm-hmm. You had to know what you were doing in order to be able to
because they made it kind of a big deal that this was like one of the first cases that they were able to look at that. Just as a side note, Lisa was from somewhere in Kansas, so she had driven up there. After they found out this information, they arrested Lisa the next day, and the infant was found safe and given back to the father. And when they found her, she was in the living room holding the baby while watching the Amber Alert on TV.
Oh.
Lisa had some issues, and they think that this was motivated by a miscarriage that Lisa had had, but she didn't tell her family. And another thought was that her husband was going to use the fact that she had lied about the miscarriage as a way to get custody of her children. So she kind of had maybe a mental break there. So she might have felt that she somehow needed to produce a baby in order to get out of this situation and keep her children. Unsure. Experts said that at the time of the murder, she was suffering from psychosis, bipolar disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And she was also said to have been disassociated from reality and have permanent brain damage from the numerous beatings she received from her parents and spouses. Mm-hmm. So really a sad story on both ends, honestly.
Yeah.
And not to give empathy or sympathy to the killer, but that is a horrific upbringing for her as well.
Yeah.
Lisa Montgomery was executed by lethal injection on January 13th, just this year, 2021, in Terre Haute, Indiana. And she was the first female federal prisoner executed in 67 years.
Yeah, that's why we were talking about it, because it was big news.
It's a big deal.
It came as an alert, like they were trying to go for a stay.
They did a couple times because her attorney or somebody had COVID in December was the original date.
Right.
They were able to push it back. And so I was driving home and I was listening to NPR and they were interviewing somebody that was going to meet with her, and she was like a nun, I think, or a retired nun, and was talking about the death penalty, and that's how this whole thing of Skidmore came up. Pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
So just a few of the short theories. I'll try to make them brief here. So there was a popular documentary on Sundance TV called No One Saw a Thing, where they looked at the different crimes here in Skidmore, in the small town, and came up with a few theories. One of the theories is that some people just think that the people in the town are raised to carry out a sort of vigilante justice. This is when a person or group of people claim to enforce the law, even though they have no authority to do this.
Right.
Yeah. These people grew up hearing about popular vigilantes like Jesse James and hearing stories about the Wild West where they took law into their own hands. Makes sense, kind of.
And the police let them do it sounds like.
Yeah, not officially, of course. But...
Well, not officially, no. Yeah. But the sheriff's like, I'm going to leave town. You guys handle this.
Exactly. Lots of other theories that were buzzing around Reddit, our favorite forum.
I love Reddit.
Mostly including drugs and small town thinking, suggesting that it is such a small town that everyone knows everyone and rivalries are bound to happen, obviously. And other people believed that McElroy inflicted so much trauma over so many generations that the townspeople have never been the same since then. And that there were a lot of people there the day that he died. You know, that nobody came forward, and they basically had to live with that trauma their entire life. And so it kind of manifested in different ways over the generations later on.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that is all I have for you about Skidmore, Missouri.
Skidmore, Missouri.
Yep.
I wonder if the place is cursed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
it's
if
definitely
it's just a way of life.
Or if it's just coincidences that all this terrible stuff happens.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? I mean, I think people have lots of theories about the land there, and there's all sorts of thoughts on it.
That's crazy.
But for the most part, they'll say that, you know, it's just a small town. Most people are just trying to live their day-to-day life.
Right. Thanks so much for talking about Skidmore.
Oh, you're welcome.
A little bit of local.
Right?
I appreciate that.
Local.
And you're coming back to your roots.
I like the
back
full
to my
circle,
Skidmore
too.
roots.
I like the full circle because I didn't know. I mean, I knew about that.
Yeah.
Horrible murder.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that was in Skidmore.
Right.
I just knew that the girl was from Kansas.
Yeah.
That's why it was such a big deal here when she was executed.
Right. That was a horrible, horrible tragedy, but yes.
Okay. Who's going next?
Oh, let me spin.
Which color am I?
You are now purple.
Okay.
Let me get my spinning voice ready.
These rules, we can't keep up.
I was purple last time.
I know, and now I'm purple. What is this world?
Okay.
You do a much better job than I do. I know.
I can't do it anymore.
Oh, it's Boydston.
It's me. I'm so excited. Also,
yes.
This Mike's Hard Lemonade Seltzer, the pineapple, is delightful.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't said what we're drinking tonight.
I'm drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade Seltzer.
We're drinking Bud Light Seltzer lemonades.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel like those are very similar.
Yeah.
Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Listen, we're all about the seltzer life.
Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade.
I drank wine last night, so I didn't want wine tonight.
I swore I wouldn't drink seltzer again, but here we are.
Here we are.
You lose. You
forget.
You forget.
You haven't drank the claw.
How horrible it was. You lose. You lose. I couldn't finish the sentence because it's terrible.
White Claw I haven't. I can't.
I think I'm the only one who's had White Claw since that night of the three of us.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know. Okay. Boydston.
Horrible memories.
We are going to go from Missouri straight south to Texas.
Okay.
Texas. Okay.
And this is the case of Angela Samota.
I do not know.
Ooh, tell me more.
Okay. Yeah, sure. No problem. Angela Samota was a 20-year-old college student at Southern Methodist University in Dallas. She was a member of the Zeta Tau Alpha sorority and was studying computer science and electrical engineering. So super smart.
Intelligent, yeah.
Her roommate, Sheila, described her as a triple threat. Beautiful, intelligent, and
smart.
A great personality.
Oh. Intelligent means smart.
Oh, yeah. Which is funny because we both said she's smart and you go intelligent. And I thought that's the same thing.
Beautiful, intelligent. And smart.
We both just did that. It's separate.
She was smart and intelligent and a really good thinker.
She was a quadruple threat, okay?
Okay, she was a pretty awesome person.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So her and Sheila became best friends after they were matched to be roommates their freshman year. Sheila was a shy psychology student, and at this time she was away from college at her parents' house in North Texas. And this was on Friday night of October 12th, 1984.
Okay.
Angela and two of her friends went to the Texas State Fair and then to a dance club called the Rio Room. By all accounts, Angela was having a great time and seemingly knew everyone. She was out at all the tables, just bouncing around, having a good time. They stayed out until just past midnight, and then she drove her friends home, and then that was around 1 a.m. And so it's now Saturday, and they had plans to go to the university football game against Baylor later that day. It was an early game. So that's why they left a little early, and they just wanted to get home. But she never made it to the Baylor game. So after dropping her friends off, she then swung by her boyfriend's apartment to say goodnight and then returned to her place. And her boyfriend would say later that around 1:45 a.m., he got a call from Angela, and she told him that there was a man in her condo asking to use the phone and the bathroom. She said she would call him right back after the guy used the phone, and she hung up. But, of course, she never called back.
Jeez.
Her boyfriend tried calling, and when no one answered, he got worried, and so he drove to the condo, and she didn't answer the door. Nobody answered the door, and it was locked, so he got concerned, and he called the police.
Good boyfriend.
Yeah. And around 2:17 a.m., they arrived, and they broke down the door, and there they discovered Angela's dead body on the bed, naked and bloody. So autopsy reports showed that she had been raped and then stabbed repeatedly, succumbing to a stab wound to her heart.
This is like, I mean, he had a pretty fast response time. So did the police.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not giving the killer a lot of time to get away.
No. Police suspected her boyfriend, actually, and also one of her male friends, one of the friends that she went out with that night.
I feel like they're always a suspect, though, right?
Right.
It's always the wife, husband, boyfriend.
He was closest to them.
He was the last to see her and talk to her.
First the one to call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So evidence was collected, but technology at the time, I mean, it's 1984. It wasn't what it is today, and the case went cold. And then Sheila, the roommate, she was just grief-stricken. She dropped out of university. She moved to Tennessee. And for 20 years, she couldn't get past what happened to Angela and the fact that no one had been brought to justice. So according to Sheila, in 2004, so this is 20 years later, she was home alone reading passages from the book of Daniel for a Bible study. All of a sudden, she saw Angela as an apparition, and this prompted Sheila to take things into her own hands and to help solve the case. And this is where I think it's kind of interesting, is like, you know, they've gone all this time, it's a cold case, and then this happens, and it just kind of sparks something in her. So she called the Dallas Police Department more than 750 times over the next several years to plead with them to reopen the case. And zero progress was made, and she was eventually told that, quote, some cases just weren't going to be solved. Which is devastating to hear about, you know, your close friend or your family member. You'd never want to hear those things.
Right.
So since the Justice Department didn't seem to be taking initiative, Sheila started the journey to take things into her own hands. She earned her license as a private investigator, initially taking on small cases like cheating, stalking, cyberbullying, and eventually taking on cold murder cases. She soon set up a room dedicated to the files, all the files that she had on Angela's case. The police department found out how serious this was getting and assigned the case to a detective within the department for a fresh look. And it was originally thought that the rape kit had been lost in flooding, but it hadn't. And in 2006, the DNA evidence from blood, semen, and fingernail samples were used to try and find a match among known criminals. And 2 years later, in 2008, there was finally an answer. So DNA matched to a Donald Andrew Bess Jr., who was a man serving a life sentence for an unrelated charge of aggravated rape, aggravated kidnapping, and sexual assault. So not new things for him.
Right.
At the time of Angela's assault, Bess was 36 years old, and he was actually out on parole from, again, aggravated sexual assault and aggravated kidnapping. But due to the DNA match, Bess was found guilty, and during the sentencing phase of the trial, a bunch of other women testified that they had also been raped by him. Even his ex-wife had something to say when she testified that he abused her and their child during their short 3-year marriage. And that was in the late 70s. So Bess received the death sentence and has been on death row ever since. He's tried to appeal a few times, but has been unsuccessful. He doesn't have an execution date yet. But Sheila remains a PI, and in 2016, the Dallas Police Department reestablished a unit dedicated to researching old cases.
So Sheila's the real hero in this case.
She is.
She's
the ultimate BFF. I wonder what made him escalate from sexual assault to murder.
I mean, he was on parole for kidnapping and rape.
But not murder that time, right?
No, I guess, that we know of,
right.
Angela's his only murder, but...
Right, I wonder what made him escalate.
It probably could have been more.
I wonder if she fought back. I wonder if she said something that triggered him.
Yeah, because, I
don't know.
Stabbed her straight in the heart, and he was...
multiple times.
Not letting her get away, yeah.
Right. But that's the case of Angela. I thought it was really cool that, her best friend's determination was
yeah, that's awesome.
We got to figure this out for her.
Love that.
And I guess at the trial, it was all of her sorority sisters, her entire family, all of her college friends. Even 20 years later, they showed up to support her.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's not something you ever forget, I don't think.
No, definitely.
Love that. Well, don't love that,
Yes,
but I love
thank you.
the support, the continued support.
All right, are you getting my PowerPoint pulled up?
Yes.
The Twilight Killers. So we are
Bella.
Please continue.
No. I'll go more when you.
Okay.
I'll add dramatic effect here.
I've never seen Twilight.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, that's
weird.
I'm not really into that, so.
I did watch it.
I've read all the books and watched the movies.
I did not read that. I know we're shocked.
The books are way better.
If you like to read.
Yes, if you like to read. Okay.
The movies were
okay.
weird. But I watched all of them somehow. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
All right. So I went to England and I found this case on Reddit. So I really love Reddit.
Fun. Okay.
All right. So we're going to talk about, this is the story of Kim Edwards, Elizabeth Edwards, and Katie Edwards.
There's no Bella in there, but okay.
There's not, but their last name is Edwards.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Twilight's about Edward and Bella. Boydston. Okay.
That's why I keep saying it over and over.
This part doesn't have to do with Twilight, but okay. So Kim is the mom. She has 2 daughters, Elizabeth and Katie. They live in Spalding, which is in southern Lincolnshire, England. So in 2008, there was a domestic violence altercation that ended in Elizabeth, who's the mom, hitting Kim when Kim was about 6 years old. So their father, he was addicted to drugs. There was domestic violence already in the home between him and Elizabeth prior to this. So after this incident where Kim got hit, Elizabeth left the father and then referred herself to social services and was like, I need some help, which I actually respect that.
Okay.
So Kim and Katie were both taken into foster care temporarily. Despite all of their troubles, though, it was said that Elizabeth was well respected in the community. She worked at local charities and she helped out at the schools, and everybody pretty much loved her. Because of all of this, obviously, Elizabeth and Kim had a pretty difficult relationship.
Sure.
Kim felt that her mother loved Katie more because Katie didn't get hit. She constantly felt like she was the least favorite child and just really could not let go of what happened, that she was in foster care and all of this.
Sure.
Yeah.
So eventually the girls were returned to Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
Meet girl
and her mom. Who's girl?
I hope you like my captions.
I like how just part of it is capitalized too.
Yes, you're welcome. Just wait, it gets better. All right.
Who's girl?
So the girls were returned to their mom.
Okay.
All right. So Kim is girl.
Oh, okay.
Kim is girl.
Girl. Okay.
All right, we're focusing on Kim.
Got it.
All right, so
Girl.
Kim
Got it.
was struggling in a lot of other ways besides her relationship with her mom. She threatened to run away. She wrote a suicide note, which Elizabeth found and took her to be evaluated by a mental health professional, but they were like, we see no signs of mental health, and sent her back home. Kim started posting depressing pictures on her Facebook account with also pretty depressing captions. So at 13, Kim starts dating Lucas Markham.
Oh, I get it now. Girl meets boy.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so Lucas had a pretty difficult upbringing as well. He was also placed in foster care at about 4 years old due to domestic violence in his home between his parents. His father was an alcoholic, and his mother was battling leukemia as well at this time.
Aw.
So he went to his aunt's house, and while he was with his aunt, his mom ended up passing away from leukemia.
So sad.
So because of this upbringing, he had severe anger issues. He frequently got into fights at school. He was at the behavioral unit of his school, so him and Kim didn't necessarily go to the same part of the school, but she would visit him there.
Okay.
And it said that she first saw him and fell in love with him when she saw him throw a chair across the classroom in a fit of rage.
Oh, that was the moment, huh?
That was the moment.
Wow,
Okay.
look at that guy. He's so hot.
This sounds like someone I want to be with. All right. So obviously Elizabeth disapproved of this relationship. She noticed warning signs in Lucas.
Girl and boy date.
Yes, they're
Okay,
dating.
got
it. So Elizabeth noticed all the warning signs in Lucas with his temper, and she
Sure.
had been in a domestic violence situation as well, so
Yeah.
she was like, he's going to hurt you. So they were, 13 when they started dating. At this point, they're now 14. They're having sex. Elizabeth thought they were too young for this. She thought he is danger, so she tried to keep the two of them apart. And as I'm sure you know, this is going to work real well, and it's not going to backfire.
Always does.
Yeah, didn't make Kim want him more at all. I put in my notes sarcasm. Just so I can remember.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I don't think you're supposed to point out. But thank you.
Stop it. Shut up.
I'm kidding.
All right, so Elizabeth ends up banning Lucas from the house. She's like, he can't even come inside. They would just meet outside in the backyard or in their garden instead. At one point, Kim and Lucas even ran away together and were found 6 days later in a tent inside a nearby wooded area. They were returned to their homes. When Kim came home, she found that some of her things were in Katie's room, her sister's room, which, infuriated her.
Mm-hmm.
So March 2016, Kim attempted suicide by overdosing on painkillers. She was in the hospital, but she was okay. At this point, Lucas started to hate Elizabeth too. He suggested killing her, and Kim thought he was joking and said, yeah, and then realized, oh, he's serious.
Yikes.
Lucas had a friend at this time named Adam, whose father was unfortunately murdered by a gang of boys in his own home. But Lucas was obsessed with this and with asking Adam questions. So he would ask him questions about the murder. He would ask questions like, what did the police say? How did the police interrogate you?
Wow.
Not a good sign.
He asked what the court process was like, what the trial was like. And one of the guys who had killed his father got off. And he was like, how did he get off?
Got it.
These
are not good signs.
Not a good sign.
I think this is foreshadowing.
So we're going to fast forward to April 11th, 2016, which is a Monday night.
So many April cases.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. On a Monday night, Lucas, they had planned this all out, so he snuck out of the home, and he was going to knock on Kim's window. She would let him inside, and that's when the murder would happen. So he knocked on her window, and she had fallen asleep. So he was like, whatever, I'll go back home. So he went home. He tried again the next night on Tuesday night, and she had fallen asleep again. So Wednesday night is when she was not asleep, and he was let inside on April 13th. Which, I was watching some documentaries about this, and a lot of psychologists were like, this is weird. She's plotting her mother's murder, and she's able to just fall asleep.
I was just thinking about that because I've got insomnia, and if somebody was maybe going to die soon or in my household, I would not be able to sleep even more so than normal.
Right.
Makes
If
you
you were
wonder-
under any kind of emotional duress.
It makes you wonder if she was struggling with the decision and just was maybe even pretending to be asleep, didn't want to go through with things at that time.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Well,
So basically, she was carrying on as if nothing was different in her life.
Okay.
So on this Wednesday night, Kim did let Lucas into the house through the bathroom window, bringing a bag of kitchen knives. So they had planned for him to kill Elizabeth, the mom, while Kim killed her sister, Katie.
Oh.
Both of them were asleep at this point. So Lucas goes to Elizabeth's room first. He stabs her in the neck, targeting her voice box so that she would not cry or scream to alert anybody.
That is creepy.
It's very advanced.
Yeah. Unfortunately, stabbing her in the neck did kill her voice box, but did not kill her immediately, and they struggled for about 10 minutes before he suffocated her with a pillow and stabbed her a total of 8 times. Kim heard the struggle and she came in to like check to see if everything was okay. So she watched.
No, it's not okay, Kim. It's not.
None of this is okay.
Is everything okay? I know you were going to stab my mom in the voice box.
I know you're going to kill my mom, but I hear a struggle.
What's wrong?
So she watched him kill her mother. She grabbed Elizabeth's hand because she thought it was Lucas's hand. And when she realized it was her mom's, she like dropped it right away. Ugh. Which...
It's like a dissociative personality.
Yeah, I'm sure her mom was like reaching out for her hand, like, help me. Mm-hmm. Yes. So after her mom was killed, Kim had a panic attack and realized that she could not kill her sister. She was like, I can't do this. So Lucas went to Katie's room and did the same thing, stabbed her in the voice box, and then suffocated her with her pillow. And she was 13 years old at the time.
Poor baby.
Yeah. So in one night, the two of them became Britain's youngest double murders at 14.
Oh,
wow. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know that not a title you want to
have. Yeah.
No, not a title you want to have. So we're going to talk about why they're the Twilight Killers. So they felt little remorse after both of them were killed. They had a bath together to remove all of the blood and wash it off, then had sex in the living room, and then watched Twilight while eating ice cream. So when the media later learned about this, they called them the Twilight Killers.
Oh, okay.
Because they were just so nonchalant and just hanging out, watching all of the Twilight movies while eating ice cream and having sex. Well,
not gonna lie, kind of wish you were gonna tell me that they thought they were vampires or something.
It has nothing to do with vampires, unfortunately. They didn't care. This went on for about 36 hours, where they just stayed in the home with the bodies. So at this point, 36 hours later, the school is like, both girls are absent. This is weird. Elizabeth's boyfriend, Graham Greene, had been calling her, not able to get in contact. And he was like, this was really unusual for her, not showing up for work, not answering my phone calls. So he called the police, and then the school had also reported to the police some concerns due to basically all three of them are missing. The police went to investigate, and they broke in, like, right away, which I was like, dang. So they found Kim and Lucas just sitting watching Twilight, and they said they asked what was going on. How much ice cream
were they eating?
A lot. 36 hours. So they asked Kim and Lucas, like, hey, what's going on? And Lucas said, quote, why don't you go and look?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, so many questions.
I know. Yeah. So the original plan supposedly was like a murder-suicide with them. Like they had alcohol and painkillers and all these meds actually to overdose, and they never did it. They're not
Romeo and Juliet stuff. Okay.
Yeah, they're not sure if like they got scared or if they just chickened out or like what happened. Yeah. But obviously they didn't kill themselves. It makes me sad looking at their mugshots though because they look so young.
They were young.
I know, 14.
Yeah,
so young. Right. So Martin Holvey, he's the detective chief inspector. He spoke about how strange Kim and Lucas acted after the discovery of the bodies, saying that they showed no remorse and no empathy. In Kim's interview with police, which you can go online, like listen to her interviews, and it's like just scary hearing the lack of empathy in her voice and how she talks about her mom and her sister being murdered. So I'm going to quote a little bit about what she says. In her interview, though, she talked about her history with her mom and said, you know, my sister's always been the favorite. She did say that she missed her little sister, but thought that it was only right that she should die because then she didn't have to cope with losing her mom. She was quoted as saying, quote, I thought it would have been better for my sister to die too. I was not killing my sister out of anger, and I miss her, but I was excited about killing my mother, and I was looking forward to it.
Okay.
Wow.
Lucas reported to police that he killed Katie, the sister, so that she would not call the police, because he thought that's what she would do.
Yeah.
When asked by police if this was the only reason that he killed her, he said, pretty much.
Huh. Yeah.
When asked how she felt about everything that happened, Kim said, quote, I was okay with it. The fact that it happened so quickly gave me peace of mind because it wasn't like torture or anything.
10 minutes feels like a really long time to die.
Yeah. And being stabbed and then suffocated.
Yeah. Suffocation is a terrible way to go.
Yeah. And being stabbed in the throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She also said, quote, my mom doesn't have to deal with me anymore being like suicidal, and she doesn't have to wake up worrying every morning to see if I'm still alive. Then she talked about killing Katie and said, quote, the heartbreak and just all the emotions and stuff was why she killed her sister, to save her from that. According to criminologist David Wilson, he described this as an example of high level of psychopathy? Psychopathy, yep. Described this as a high...
How you say? I think it is.
An example of high level of psychopathy.
Sounds right.
Gonna say that again. Hold on. Described this as an example of high level of psychopathy with her egocentric belief that she was doing them all a favor by killing them. So both Kim and Lucas were tried at Nottingham Crown Court in November 2016. So little fun fact here. In the UK, if you are over the age of 10, you are criminally responsible, regardless if you're still a minor. So at 14, they were both criminally responsible and were charged, but had their identities protected from the media.
Sure.
So Lucas pled guilty for first-degree murder. Kim attempted to be tried for manslaughter. She attempted an insanity plea, saying that she was depressed and Lucas was very controlling and ordered her to do this. The jury only deliberated for 2 hours and then said, nope, you're just as guilty and are getting the first-degree murder charge as well.
Especially after those interviews.
Yeah. So their rationale was that she helped plan and carry out and it was like an intricate
Well, she let him
plan.
in.
Yeah, she let him in, and then they stayed in the house for 2 days without alerting police. Yeah. So, like,
not gonna work.
All of this is giving you cause for first-degree murder, even if you didn't actually kill anybody.
Yeah.
You planned it and then didn't do anything.
Yep.
So they were both given a minimum sentence of 20 years, which later was reduced to 17.5 years following an appeal. So some people believe that this was too intense of a jail sentence for their age because they were 14, which is why they appealed it and got 17 and a half years. So during this appeal, their identities were allowed to be made public, which is how we all know who they are now and what happened.
Oh. Okay.
And then my last slide is of Bella and Edward, and I put Team Edward.
Finally, it's Bella. He really looks this weird the whole time.
Yes, he does. It's a very awkward movie.
It really, really is.
So that's the Twilight Killers. Isn't that crazy?
When did this happen?
2014. You were talking about.
Not that long ago.
Wow.
So they're both still in prison right now, but at 14, they only got 17 and a half years. I mean, they'll be out in their 30s. But they have the option to go longer. It was minimum 17 and a half years.
I was saying that there's this guy on TikTok. His name's Brody. And he's got like this really long red wavy hair and like a full beard. And he reenacts a lot of skits.
From them? From Twilight?
I said Frozen.
From Frozen.
From Twilight, yes. It is. He's very good.
Yeah.
And it is very awkward and hilarious.
So, just kind of creepy.
Nice job, Linz.
2 little, basically, psychopaths.
No joke.
Who found each other, and
some people are just drawn to each other, and unfortunately,
neither one ever showed remorse. He never showed remorse at all. The only remorse she showed was for her sister, but justified why she did it.
Right.
It's just sad.
That's really sad and scary that they can look like that.
So there you go. Youngest double murderers in the UK.
You know what kind of reminded me of too was Gypsy Rose. When you were talking about that, like how they
yeah,
I don't know. I was going to say
killed
like
the mom and
and hid out and had sex and ate a bunch of food and pretended like nothing happened and
yeah, that part for sure. Yeah, I just like I think that's what stunned the media and why it was so like their age obviously was like a huge factor as why it was a big media circus, but also just that they hid out in this home for 2 days, like while their bodies were literally rotting upstairs, just watching TV, eating ice cream, and having sex like nothing.
Yeah.
And they mentioned, so like she shared a room with her sister, so her sister died in her room, their room, and so they mentioned at one point in this documentary that she like went upstairs, grabbed the mattress off of her bed, and like dragged it downstairs, so, like she was in the room.
Aww, that's
after
sad.
Her sister died, 13 years old.
It's horrible.
Okay. So that is our true crime episode, guys. Sorry to bring you down here.
They're always downers.
They're always downers. I'm sorry. You can always find us online at thetipsyghost.com to find all of our socials from there, or email us your stories at thetipsyghost@gmail.com.
Please give us a 5-star rating and a great review on Apple Podcasts. We would greatly appreciate it.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. We will catch you guys next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.